All right, welcome. So, how a good diet improves mental health. This video is going to teach you how you can actually use and utilize your diet to improve your brain's health. Before we start this video, I just want to quickly announce that if any of you guys are interested in transforming your lives through self-improvement, working with me one-on-one, you can go and check out either of the two links in the description to reach out to me and connect with me, and we can discuss whether or not you are fit for the coaching program. But without further ado, we can go into the video. This video is going to teach you exactly why diet is so important when it comes to mental health, right? So for those of you who are trying to improve your mental health, for those of you who are trying to work on your mental health, diet is actually going to be one of your key factors. It's going to be one of your most important pieces when it comes to improving your mental health. So this video is going to explain and teach you exactly why diet is so effective for your mental health, and then how you can actually utilize it to work on and improve your mental health. So when I started fasting, the first fast I ever did was January 1st of 2024, this year. And I set out for a 7-day fast, my first ever time fasting, which was somewhat of a mistake. And I didn't actually make it through all 7 days. I made it through 3, which is a step in the right direction, but it wasn't my initial goal. However, within that fast, I learned a lot of things about myself. I learned a lot of things about my own mind. But most importantly, that was when I started my YouTube channel, right? That was when I made my first ever YouTube video, was during that fast. And so a couple things with fasting that were interesting with this period of time. So the first was it removed my anxiety associated with creating the first video for the channel. And that's how I was able to break through and actually do it. But another reason is that it actually gave me such a sense of positivity towards the work that the amount of enjoyment that I got from creating that first YouTube video is what sparked the rest of this channel. But I believe it would have taken me longer if I had started off of a fast, because I don't think I would have gotten that same spark of motivation. Since my mind was so clear and so focused on the work, I was able to program it directly into my brain. And I got so much more enjoyment from it because of the fact that I was fasted, that I ended up continuing throughout the rest of this year. And now we are into November, towards the end of November, and I'm almost, not quite, but I'm almost a full year into making YouTube content, which is pretty cool. But I don't believe I would have been able to do it as fast as I've done it without fasting. So fasting both improved my mood, genuinely improved how I felt, right? The thing I wrote down is that it gave me a permanent smile, basically. Ever since that first fast, right, I've just had a lot more of a clear and uplifted personality. Before that point, I was going through a lot of mental struggles, and although I was on self-improvement and working towards certain goals and really becoming successful in a lot of these areas, I had started to mentally deteriorate at a certain period of time. But then fasting kind of repaired and healed that. But later on, I ended up going through another period where I was in a rut, and I've been trying to fast to get out of it, but I haven't been able to fast. And so I'm looking for other ways to other solutions for that. If you're not in a position where you can fast, if you're not in a position where your mental strength is there for a full fast. But it is very effective for resetting you and getting you out of a rut, because it increases your mood, as I said. But it also improved my diet, right? By fasting, when I started eating again, I was naturally more conscientious of the food I ate, and I naturally didn't crave as many different types of food. I just wanted to eat what was actually good for my body, what was actually nutritious for my body. And so naturally, from that point, my diet actually started improving drastically. So fasting itself not only improved my diet, but it actually directly improved my mental health, right? It gave me what I call a permanent smile, where it made me excited for things again. It made me excited for work again. It made me excited for my purpose again. And of course, we still have all of the challenges we have associated with achieving those goals, but having that feeling of desire, of motivation, is a very key factor. It's a driving factor. It's the driving force behind you actually achieving those goals that you're setting out for. And so it's important to optimize motivation where we can, but also important not to rely on it, right? The only thing we should really rely on is discipline. But we also want to increase motivation, because motivation and discipline together is what will create a relentless type of person, the type of person who is exponentially progressing. Whereas somebody who's just disciplined is still going to exponentially progress, but he's not going to have the drive behind his actions in order to make real impact and make real change. Whereas the person who is just motivated won't do the work, right? And so you will need both. But being able to feel motivated for work again, being able to feel motivated for your purpose again, being able to feel connected even to yourself again, is one of the main reasons why your mental health is in the shitter, is the best way I could say that. So not only by fasting, but also by improving your diet, we will essentially be able to reduce the amount of mental stress that you carry throughout the day and reduce the amount of negativity that you have in your brain, right? And so the link between diet and your brain. The first key point with this is, and an important piece to look at and think about, is that 97% of your neurons are actually not found in the brain. They are found in the gut. So the subconscious mind, the subconscious brain, is actually within the gut, right? It's within the rest of the physical body. It's not actually within our brain itself, right? This is where most of the conscious faculties of our brain are housed, right? Not all of them, of course. There are still subconscious and unconscious parts of our brain that don't apply to the conscious mind, but the majority of the subconscious aspects of our brain are held within the gut, within the body itself, right? So with this, that means that whatever we are eating directly impacts the state of our mind, the state of our brain, and the health of it, right? So how healthy your brain is directly determined by the food that you eat, the amount of nutrients that you are that you are giving it, and your amount of hydration, right? So if you are dehydrated, or if you are missing essential nutrients in your diet, or if you are eating food that is bad for your body, which is anything that is not natural food, that is not whole food, then you will be causing either brain fog or a sense of mental stress, or this negative state that I'm talking about, right? And really with the toxic food, toxins, that is what's going to cause this negative state of mind, is because you are literally putting toxins in your body. You're literally putting poison in your body. And so your body's reaction to that is all of this negativity that we feel, right? It's your body telling you that something's wrong. It's your body telling you that you're not doing something correctly, that something is harming it, essentially. All types of pain are that there's some form of harm being done to your body or your being, and you need to change something and adapt something in order to stop harming yourself, right? In order to stop hurting yourself. And so this negativity you feel is oftentimes connected to the food you eat. So it is your brain telling you that you are eating the wrong type of food. It is your brain telling you that you need to adjust your diet so that you're eating more nutrients, more of the essential nutrients that your specific body is in need of, but also that the foods that you are eating are harming it, right? The foods that you are eating are damaging your brain, right? And so it is important to listen to these signs, yes, but also address them, right? It is natural that your brain is reacting with pain and negativity, but you don't want to leave it there just because it's supposed to be that way, right? Because the reason it is supposed to be that way is as a warning that you need to change something, right? So take it as the warning and change, right? Don't worry so much about the symptom itself. Worry about changing your actions associated with the symptom, right? So if it is your mind's health, your brain's health, take the necessary actions to adjust your diet in a way that you can be healthier of mind and of body, of course. But the food that you eat will translate to the type of energy that you have, right? So if you're eating shitty food, you will feel more sluggish. You won't have the same type of vigor and vitality and this energetic personality that you might have if you were eating more fruits, vegetables, and meat, right? If you were eating more natural food. And so the food that you eat directly translates to the type of energy that you actually carry throughout the day, right? The type of energy that your body can convert it into. If you are eating poison, right? If you're eating sugar, if you're eating, let's say it's candy, like bullshit, like candy or chips or energy drinks or anything like that, right? If you are eating these types of food, then the energy that you have as a result of that, the energy that's created as a result of that will be more sluggish. It will be slow. Your brain will work slower. Your body will not feel like it has the nutrients and the force that it needs in order to, let's say, push through a workout or push through a bout of deep work. But if you are eating whole foods, like a lot of fruits and vegetables, right? Fruits and vegetables contain the most energy out of any food that you could eat. So if you're eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, naturally you're going to be very energetic, right? You're going to be very driven. You're going to be very focused and clear-headed, able to get a lot of work done in a decent amount of time, right? In a reasonable amount of time, and also have the clarity of mind and the energy to keep going afterwards, right? You're not going to crash out at the end of the day because of low energy, right? Because you feel this like crash of energy. That is the result of eating processed carbs, sugar, all of this other bullshit, caffeine. And I'm not going to sit here and act all high and mighty, right? Caffeine is something I'm struggling with as well. But it is definitely one of those things that you should look at as maybe this isn't something I actually need. Maybe this is genuinely an addiction, right? Because I've found that I have more energy without caffeine, but I've also found that I can convince myself that caffeine gives me energy because immediately after drinking it, I get a burst of energy. But throughout the rest of that day and throughout the next day, I notice a dip in energy, right? So overall, I noticed I have less energy when I drink caffeine. And so it might be worth considering not tricking yourself into believing that it is still healthy. But regardless of what it is, putting these things in your body that's not naturally supposed to be in your body, that's going to alter the state of your brain, that's going to alter your neurochemistry, you need to be aware of how it's going to be altering that neurochemistry, right? Because everything you eat will alter your neurochemistry in some way. But when you're eating foods like the ones I just mentioned, then you are essentially giving your body poison, right? You're giving your body poison, but it's going to take that poison, turn it into nutrients, turn it into the building blocks for the rest of your body, for your brain, your mind, your nervous system. And so you're going to be built out of these flawed building blocks, essentially, out of these damaged cells, right? You'll be creating damaged cells because you're making it out of a flawed resource, right? And so depending on the resource you're giving your body, that will determine the quality of the cells that it can produce, but also the quality of the thoughts that it can produce and the quality of your energy that it can produce, right? And so it's very important to be wary of the exact type of food that you're eating. And also, I'm not saying I am saying stop eating junk food, but for those of you who won't listen to me, at the very least, become aware of how you actually feel, not immediately after, but even 2 hours to a day to 2 days after you eat that food, right? How does it impact your mental health? How does it impact your energy levels, right? Do you wake up sluggish the next day, or do you wake up sluggish a couple days later? Become aware of the effects that the things that you're putting in your body actually has on your body. The food that you eat also directly impacts your emotional state, right? So your emotions can become very volatile if you are putting poison in your body, right? Naturally, your body is being more reactive. It's in that survival state because you're poisoning it, you're harming it. And so it's in this state of constantly trying to address that and heal and rejuvenate. Another point with food and semen retention is it's interesting that most people are used to being in this state, right? Most people are used to being in what we call the recovery phase on semen retention, where within 4 days after release, your body is in a state of prioritizing the recovery and the rejuvenation of your semen, meaning you have less energy for the rest of the faculties of your body, including your brain. So you naturally work slower, you feel more sluggish, and you have less energy to use, you have less vitality. But most people are actually used to this state, right? Most people are considerably used to this state. And so most people are used to the state of their body literally being constantly in this state of trying to heal from all of the bullshit that they're putting inside of it. but they never stop putting bullshit inside of it, so the body never fully heals. And so they stay used to this state of being emotionally out of control, emotionally volatile, right? Consumed and controlled by their emotions and their thoughts. This is the result of putting poison in your body, and your body is aware that you are in a state of bad health before you are, obviously, because your body is the thing that determines your health, right? So your body will know before you that you are in a bad health, and so it will show you this. It will give you signs through things like your negative thoughts, through things like your volatile emotions, right? But also, the food that you eat directly translates into the type of emotions that you have, because if it translates to the type of energy that you create, it will also translate to the type of emotions that you experience, because your emotions are just your energy, your body's energy in motion, in a state of movement. So when we're eating good food, like when we're eating the vegetables, when we're eating the fruit, when we're eating meat, we are clear-headed, right? We have less intense emotions, but also we typically have more positive emotions, right? We have more light-based emotions because we're eating food that was created by light and by nature, right? And so we have higher you could talk vibrations here. We have higher vibrational emotions because we're eating higher vibrational foods, which is creating a higher vibration of energy within us, right? And that higher vibrational state is akin to feeling and experiencing higher vibration emotions, right? And so, however, if you're eating poison, if you're eating food that's not supposed to be in your body, if you're eating food that is in and of itself lower vibrational, any food that is man-made is naturally lower vibrational than something made by God. That's a given. Then you are going to be feeling and experiencing lower vibrational emotions, lower vibrational states, right? And the last thing is that eating poison causes an internal pressure that actually leads to the bad mental health that we're talking about, right? So when we are eating this food, a lot of times our body can't properly break it down. And so the result of this is that our body essentially builds up this store of what I call crud, right? Just bullshit, right? It's just crowding of the cells with useless matter, right? Matter that can't be processed into anything valuable, and so it's just left in the body. This is one of the reasons why fasting is so important, because with all of the bullshit that we're eating, a lot of it's not actually going anywhere, and a lot of it's staying within our bodies. And so we need to fast in order to allow our bodies to properly clear this out and properly digest and remove all of this bullshit. But it creates this pressure because it's crowding the rest of your body with all of this bullshit food that can't be properly processed, that can't be translated into anything or transmuted into anything. And so it just takes up space within the body, which creates a sense of internal pressure. And that internal pressure causes bad mental health. It causes this negative state and all these negative emotions, right? So how do we actually improve our mental health through our diet? The first step is fasting, right? Fasting is going to be your key. It's going to be your most important factor when it comes to overcoming mental health issues as far as diet goes, right? For most of the reasons I just mentioned before. Because it will essentially allow your body to process all of the food, all of the excess food, and all of the excess bullshit food that is being stored in your body so that you can translate it into energy. And then by simply utilizing that energy, by sweating it off or by working and engaging our minds and using up energy, we're able to clear it from our systems. And then we follow that up with a whole food diet, right? We eat only whole foods so that when we start to bring more food into our body, we are only bringing the type of food that our body actually wants, right? We are only bringing the type of food that can be translated into real energy that our bodies can then use. So eating whole foods is the key when it comes to diet. That is all you need to do, right? A lot of people talk about you have to do this diet or that diet, alkaline or carnivore or keto or whatever. Just eat whole foods. And from there, then you can, hone in. Like some people probably operate best just eating carnivore. Some people probably operate best eating pure alkaline, right? Some people probably do their best when they are just having, let's say, a very strict diet of like maybe like a bunch of random ingredients, right? I saw a guy yesterday, his diet is basically just like a couple different types of meat, like steak and chicken and stuff, and then like a couple different types of nuts, and pretty much it. Like it's very strict, like very few different items. All of them, however, are whole foods, right? And so The point is, it's not so important what you eat, but that it is whole foods, that it is just raw ingredients, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and meat. And then you can play around with that however you want to find your best diet. But as long as you're not adding anything that is not a natural food ingredient, you will be golden. You will be fine. And then one thing that I will say, at least for me, prioritize lots of fruits and vegetables, because this is where your main energy source will come from. I didn't say any breads, any pastas, any types of carbs, right? We still need carbs though, right? Carbohydrates are our main energy source, but we don't need processed carbs. We don't need breads. We don't need pastas. We don't need any of this shit. We don't even need rice, right? I eat rice, but we don't need it, right? The most important carbohydrate source that we can have is fruits and vegetables, right? And if we just eat a good amount of fruits and vegetables throughout the day, and then make sure we have nutrient-dense meals at the end of the day, we will feel our best. We will feel like we have the most energy. We will feel the clearest, and we will be able to feel happy, healthy, clear, and energetic throughout the entire day instead of only parts of the day. Making sure that you are also eating enough for your body without overeating, right? So one thing that I find is, funny enough, most people don't actually eat enough, right? A lot of people think we need to diet, and that means reducing the amount of food we eat. But actually, I don't think most people eat enough, right? And it's not that we need to reduce the amount of food we eat, but we need to reduce the amount of false calories, right? Blank calories, empty calories, you could say. We essentially need to remove the foods that are, like, for example, carbohydrates take up a lot of our body's calories, but it doesn't provide a lot of energy for that. It doesn't provide a lot of nutrients for that. However, fruits and vegetables, we can eat a lot of fruit and a lot of vegetables all day long, and that wouldn't be considered overeating, right? You could still overeat salads. You could still overeat fruit. That is absolutely a thing. But for the most part, if we are prioritizing eating a lot of fruits and a lot of vegetables and a lot of meat and nuts, we will naturally feel full when we have actually eaten enough, and we will naturally feel hungry when we need more food. And so by only satisfying this craving to eat with food that is actually healthy for the body, that is nutrient dense, we will be actually eating enough to sustain our bodies, but we won't have the same desire to overeat that we do with, let's say, processed carbs and sugar. And then so the last thing is actually just exercise and diet. For those who are overeating, it might not be that you're overeating. It might be that your body consumes a lot of energy, but if you're not working and engaging and actively using more energy than you're consuming, you will start to feel heavier, you'll start to feel slow, and naturally this will result in some poor mental health, right? So what you want to do is essentially make sure that you are consistently exercising, always working out and training, and working more than you're eating, right? So use more energy than you eat, and obviously, like, make sure you're eating enough to sustain the body and get enough nutrients, but prioritize making sure that you are working enough to offset the amount that you eat. Because if you eat more than you work, you will build an excess of energy, and that excess of energy is what causes this mental health, this state of bad mental health. Because what we want is to be in pursuit. What we want is to be utilizing our energy. What we want is to feel clear and fulfilled, and the fulfillment comes from the fact that we know that we used our fullest potential. And so by working to that capacity and then just eating enough to support that, but not eating more than what is necessary, is going to be key. And so exercise, combining your exercise with your diet and making them synonymous, basically meaning that you are eating to fuel your workouts and you are working out in order to utilize all of your energy so that you can eat more, right? So you are basically, you're doing the two together is what I'm trying to get at. Basically just your exercise and your diet have to be one and the same, right? Your exercise and diet both go into your body's overall health and your mind's overall health, right? And so by making sure that we are exercising while maintaining a healthy diet and while making sure we're eating the right amount without overeating is going to be our key when it comes to improving mental health, at least as far as a diet goes, right? If you have a perfect diet and a truly perfect diet and you still have poor mental health, then that is something that will take more steps than just the diet part, but the diet should be the main factor for most people. However, if you don't improve the diet, don't expect your mental health to improve very much, right? You can always improve your mental health, but if you don't prioritize diet, or if you don't even address diet, then you won't make as much progress as you'd like. And I think that diet will be the way that you make the fastest progress as well. So that is all for this video. If you guys would like to work with me on this one-on-one, or just in general to transform your life through self-improvement, go ahead and click one of the 2 links in the description. But aside from that, if you guys want to see more content like this, go ahead and click the subscribe button. But I'm out of here. Peace.